Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for September 26, 2021, with your host, Peacemaker2448, and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
So we have an interesting set of episodes.
Is that what we're calling it now?
At least the back half of this.
Yeah. Like, does the thing that happens in the back half of this ever come back, or is that literally a one-off thing?
He comes back.
Okay. Because I was
Four
like,
movies.
I feel like this is at least meant to have some form of comeback. But yeah.
No, this character comes back occasionally,
Okay.
and is also the reason we have two climax forms.
Of course.
Also, I just have in the notes crackpot theory incoming because I'm like, just gonna throw something out here. It probably makes absolutely no sense. But any other thoughts into episodes 21 through 24 of Deno?
No.
Alright then, we will kick things off this week with episode 21, Fighting Style. So, for whatever reason, Owner and Yutaro are talking incredibly close to each other, recapping all that information we got about Zeranos and the Zero Liner in Yuto, well, both Yutos. And Hana is like in the middle of them, listening to all this. Why are they doing this? Like, the exposition part.
In case you forgot.
Well, I don't mean the exposition part. I mean the talking in everyone, like, right next to each other's face part.
Because we have to be as over the top as possible.
Is that why Owner does his whole spiel with his cane with Uteros after it?
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, it's essentially...
I also kind of feel like, yes, the exposition part of it is one thing, but didn't we pretty much get all of this before?
I think it's a rule of three situation where we have to repeat this information one more time to make sure you know it's important. And to make sure you got it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, could we not have added a little more information? Because we're still just repeating the same thing, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Also, I had someone say that the rule of three was a comedy thing where you can't repeat the same joke 3 times. I was like, no, that's not the rule of three I know. But okay, sure. Because someone didn't know what rule of three meant when I quoted it for a Zenkaiger thing that popped up recently. And I guess for those confused on why I said what rule of three is, essentially, a lot of times in media, things are done 3 times because I guess it's just a very specific number that makes sense to an audience, I guess. Like,
Maybe.
Sometimes characters... I don't know why it's 3. It's just, things happen in 3s sometimes. Characters will fight 3 times. Exposition will be repeated 3 times. Bosses in video games will die to 3 hits. That's just Nintendo, but yeah.
Not just Nintendo, but yeah.
But in Zenkaiger, we've had a thing repeat twice. And I was like, oh, this is leading to a third time, isn't it? And lo and behold, hey, look, a third time. That got revealed in the scans recently. And I'm like, oh, hey, look, of course. Saw that coming from a mile away. But yeah, here it is. All of our exposition about the Yutos, the Zeranos, and Zero Liner have been repeated 3 times, I think, at this point. To make sure we understand. But meanwhile, Deneb is trying to get Yuto to drop the whole asshat thing that he's doing, and he refuses because he's a brat. We eventually follow them into town, where they come across some guy who's collapsed from working too hard, I guess, at some candy stall of some kind. I don't think we ever see.
Not really an amusement park setting, but kind of.
I think it's adjacent to an amusement park.
Yeah.
But they help the guy out to a bench so he can rest, and Deneb agrees for Yuto that they help, and Yuto's like, no, I'm not helping, you help him. And so Deneb dresses up in the mascot costume so that people don't get scared by him. I mean, you're already technically looking like a mascot, so I don't think people would be that freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of your little finger guns that we see in a couple episodes are actually guns. But back over the Den Liner, Ryutaros wants to kill Yuto because he doesn't like that he's supposed to like Ari, even though it's not this Yuto. But Ryutaros is small child, so it does not compute. Also, for this entire episode, everyone is dodging all of his drawings that he leaves on the train, I guess to distract them, so he can get away with shit. Why?
I think it's because they're trying not to anger the small child that can lock them out of the one person they can take over.
They could just gather them up and put them on a table somewhere.
They don't want to anger the small child that can lock them out of the one person they can possess.
Fair.
I kind of got that part of it, and I'm like, yeah, fair. I'll give you that one.
Yeah. But Hana also wants to ask Yuto about the Zero Liner, since it, I guess, is not confirmed that it's from her lost time, but I mean, it has to be. Why would there be 2 different lost times at this point?
With the logic that the show has presented so far, yes.
I mean, from a narrative perspective, I don't know why we would be talking about 2 different lost times without any way to distinguish them.
Yes. At the same time, though, we are talking about the only bit of this information has came from Owner at this point.
Right.
And it definitely feels like he knows a lot more than he's willing to even remotely come close to saying.
Very true.
So, yeah. Well, knows for all we know, there could be hundreds of lost times.
Mm-hmm.
And this could just be a random one.
Yeah. Ryotaro and Hana get off the train, and for some reason have to come up through a storm drain?
Yep. Why?
I why is the Den Lighter dropping them off in random locations?
Why can they not control this a little bit more?
And for reference, folks, I mean a literal storm drain in the middle of the road. This is not like a prop storm drain. They legitimately have to come out of a storm drain for this scene. What the fuck? But after they walk off to, I guess, maybe find Yuzo to talk to him, we follow Deneb, who's trying to attract people to sell them candy. And the guy gets possessed by an Imagin. As Deneb is not looking. To be fair, we do see what the inside of that mask looks like, and he actually cannot see anything that isn't directly in front of his stupid face.
Except I want to argue the fact that all the other Imagins can tell when another Imagin is nearby.
Very true,
So
which also
why
doesn't
can't
help
he?
the next pair of episodes we talk about.
Yeah. It's one of those. Deneb is a broken Imagin.
Apparently. But we follow Yuto to the Milk Dipper where he introduces himself to Ari, and Ari is like, "Oh, you're a person," and doesn't recognize the name. I guess that's a good thing because we haven't just thrown all of her trauma back in her face. Good. But he leaves when Hana and Ryotaro show up, and then Ryotaro, knowing that Yuto's there, possesses Ryotaro and goes after Yuto, with Hana in pursuit. But Yuto does end up at the stall, sees that the guy is possessed by a Majin, and then has to go after it while Deneb is manning the stand. Only for Yuto to get cut off by Ryotaro's backup dancers that he still has control of. I think is it the same people from his debut episodes?
I don't know if it is or not. But either way, that either one means that he has kept control over them for this long, or two, he's just randomly abducting people.
You know, I can't wait to say that. You know, Ryotaro's and Vice are the better. Yeah. You know, I can't wait to be like, you know, Ryotaro's and Vice are the better comparison if we're going to do a Den-O comparison of characters, and for someone to be like, no. And I'm like, fucking Ryotaro's has done more crime than any Imagin in this series so far.
Yes.
This man has legitimately tried to murder people several times over and committed various kidnappings.
I mean, that's actually what's funny. With Ryutaros, it's small child that likes murder. With Vice, I feel like he's just chaos incarnate. With the wanting to try to tap into the Deadpool concept. Because I kind of get the feeling that's what they were wanting to do. And it's like, yeah, that's not working.
Yeah. Awesome. Give me a second. I need to step away.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
But yeah, it's also they're weirdly both lacking in character development at the moment.
Yeah.
Which, fortunately, in Den-O's case, is not holding back the show. In Revice's case, it's kind of holding back the show for me.
Fair, but at the same time, I don't feel like... I almost feel like there's enough going on to where maybe it could take a back burner for a little bit. I don't expect it lasting too long, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we start getting in double-digit episodes and we've not tried to do anything as far as character development with Vice at that point, then yeah, I'm gonna be like, we're messing up big time here.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Yuto runs away from the backup dancers, run into Ryuteros, who starts chasing him. Turns into gun form, starts shooting at him, but he won't transform because his means of transformation, the cards he has, are limited. Specifically, he's at 9 cards at the moment. So he started at 10 when we got first introduced to him. And he doesn't want to blow a card on a petty fight like this. Unfortunately, it's probably going to end up with him dead if he's not careful. But this is when Hana shows up and tries to stop this, only to, like, just be shot at too. And be told to run away, but no, she's got to talk to Yuto about important stuff for her. She ends up getting injured in the process, which forces Yuto to transform. So Ken and Ryuteros just duel it out for a bit with guns and then bikes. And we end the episode with them jousting at each other. Which takes us to episode 22, An Unspeakable Future. So they're continuing the fight until Hana gets hit by more debris and is more injured than before. She is limping at this point and has clearly got her arm is banged up. I want that to be on the noted for everyone because that's important for later. But this wakes up Ryutaro so he can undo the transformation, and Yuto decides to berate him over the brat child that is Ryutaros. He just apologizes, and when Yuto leaves, Hana starts limping after him. Just like Ryutaro in the previous episode, wanting answers from him, but he's just like, no, I don't wanna. Meh, like the brat he is. Until eventually when Deneb shows up, he's just like, all right, you take over for Deneb handling the stall and I'll answer your questions. And she just fucking takes the mascot costume off of Deneb and just starts limping towards the stand with Ryutaro in tow. Bear in mind, she is still injured, limping to who knows how far to stand at this candy stand to fucking sell candy just so she can get some answers on the timeline she's from. Why the fuck does she have a belt?
Also, is it bad that I feel like we got in the second set of episodes, we got the perfect opportunity to do that exact thing and don't do it?
I know. I'll get to crackpot theory about that later. But meanwhile, the Imagine, because he has beaten up the boss of the worker, has come back to the contract holder and is trying to go back in time, but it won't open because the contract holder doesn't remember making the contract because he made it in his sleep. And he doesn't have any, he's not focusing on any memory for him to go back to. So he can't. So the Imagine just starts shooting him and just beating him up. Just to beat him up, I guess. When Hana and Ryutaro get to the stand and Hana starts to get dressed, they see the guy get hauled to the ambulance past them. So Hana tells Ryutaro, go deal with Imagine, I'll deal with the candy stand. Again, I'm going to beat this point home. She is injured and hurting, and she still refuses to even ask anyone for help on this. And she is telling Ryotaro to prioritize the Imagin over her. Why won't you get a belt? So anyway, Ryotaro heads back to the train for now. He tries to talk some sense into Ryotaro's. It doesn't get through his thick head. Of course it won't. Hana's dressed up in the mascot costume at the stall and is looking absolutely miserable and just out of it. Until Naomi shows up out of nowhere and is like, "Hi, I'm here to help." And so is Ryotaro, and she also tells her to get out of the mascot costume and wear something more sensible so that the three of them can work. But they are keeping an eye on the Imagin, or I keep an eye out for the Imagin, by stuffing Kentaros and Utaros into mascot costumes and having them hang out outside the hospital. So how exactly does that work? Because they're not aligned.
Yeah.
Are they literally just in a sand form and just acting as stuffing?
Maybe?
That's the only way that it makes sense to me. But the three of them sell candy and stuff until the Imagin shows up, knocks Kentaros out of his, gets in, goes back through time. Utaros has to hobble his way inside to scan the guy with the card, so we know where he went back, and he has to go to Ryotaro to pass the card. Or no, he's on the train, and Ryotaro has to come to him. So he starts to head out until some just random asshole starts accosting Naomi and Hana about selling candy. And I just love that Momotaro's, who's on the train, I guess his job is to look after Ryutaro's and make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. Since he's not helping at the moment. But he possesses Ryutaro, knocks this guy down, fucking yeets him a football field away, and then just ducks out. A literal football field because they put up an actual measurement for how far he threw him. How is this man not dead?
Because kid show.
Fair. But after this, Ryotaro heads back in time. Him and Utaro's team up to take on the Imagin until it splits into its halves, and they both start beating him up. And then Yuto shows up and tries to talk to present Yuto, and he just leaves. So Yuto's just left to fight the Imagin with... Oh wait, he must have had 11 then. I didn't even think about that. He must have had 11 to start with. Because I forgot he transformed twice in this scene. Or in this episode. Because he says he's at 8 in the next set of episodes.
Yeah.
And I thought he was at 10. But no, he's at 11 because I forgot he transformed twice. Odd number. That must be why I thought it was 10. But Yuto shows up, transforms. Him and Ryotaro make quick work of the Imagin, except for they go to their big CGI forms, and Ryotaro quickly takes care of his. But we get to see the demonstration of what the Zero Liner can do. The front half of the train can pop out a drill and do drilling attacks. And when the two cars turn around, the other half of the train can turn both trains into a helicopter. I don't know why it's a helicopter. I like that Utaros even pointed out, that's not a train anymore. That's just a helicopter. But they chop it up with the helicopter blades. It goes boom. We hit back to the den liner. Yuto more or less goes, I'm in the dark as much as you are because I've never met the owner of the Zero Liner. Except I think he has, because I assume the Zero Liner is technically present Yuto's. That's just my theory at the moment, that it's present Yuto's.
I could say that.
Mm-hmm. But he can't offer much more, and he starts to leave. But he does tell Hana that, hey, the Zero Liner disappeared once before, and it's here now. So maybe if her lost time, maybe they can find a way to bring back her lost timeline. And then Naomi brings out some pudding that Hana made, and then Momotaro makes a comment about not wanting to eat it because, you're probably a terrible cook. And Hana just fucking kicks him into the goddamn ceiling. With her bad foot, mind you. And then proceeds to hurt herself again. But I do applaud her for kicking the shit out of Momotaro's for that comment. That's it for this one. How'd you feel about our first half?
Small child needs a leash.
Yeah, he needs a very short leash.
I feel like I get what it's all supposed to play into, kind of concept as far as with him. But yeah, at the same time, it's like, yeah. But otherwise, good two-parter.
Really gonna get any resolution with her because she's gonna be replaced with a small child actor because her actress has to leave. And there's only so much we can do with small child. I say that knowing full well what comes later in this franchise. Specifically Deno. Yeah, it was a fine pair.
Yeah.
Anything else before we hit the second half?
No.
All right, then we pick up with episode 23. Enter the prince, kneel down to him. So the denliner is receiving reports of strange animal noises and missing food. And they are talking to the Imagine to figure out, is it you guys? And they say no. So they end up chalking up the animal noises to Kintaro's snoring. And he's just like, maybe. And goes back asleep until he feels something wet on his foot. And we then see very small puppy peeing on his foot, which everyone panics about and starts to chase the puppy to catch it, to then chase it into the adjoining train car, where Hana catches it. Meanwhile, Ryotaro, I guess, is in a marathon and is limping to the finish to he's almost going to beat his record of, I think, 20 minutes or something. Until Ryotaro spots a very small kitten and decides he demands cuddles with it. So he takes over and goes cuddles with the kitten, who then comes back to the denliner, and we see that this adjoining car has a bunch of stray animals and dogs in it, and a stray bird Majin carrying a baby. That is all because of Ryotaro's. It's gotta be one of those pair of episodes, folks. So, okay. Questions.
Answers.
1. How the fuck did no one see this till now?
I mean, no one goes to that cart.
That's the car that everyone goes next to! That is the car that is connected to the hallway that everybody leaves through. Well, everybody enters and leaves the den liner through that door to that side of the train with that car connecting to it. How the fuck did you all not notice?
I mean, maybe that's not. Maybe they go to a different car that's magically there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Secondly, how the fuck did none of y'all notice that there was a Majin next door when you were supposed to be able to sense them?
Because their sensors were offline.
Apparently.
And it wasn't plot convenient.
Fair.
That's actually the big thing, is it wasn't plot convenient.
Yeah. Also, this episode reminds me, alright, Ryotaros has one redeeming quality. He at least tries to take care of stray animals. I wish there was more to your character than this one very specific detail. Anyway, they try to talk to this bird Imagine. His name is Sieg. I don't think he's even named in this episode. He's not named in this episode, is he?
Don't think so.
Okay. For reference, his name is Sieg. And he doesn't remember how he ended up where he was when Ryotaros found him. Apparently, he contracted with a woman and then ended up possessing the baby she was having and was with the baby when it was kidnapped and was in the back of a truck. So Sieg popped out and started to take the baby with him, only for Ryotaros to show up and for Sieg to tell him, "Take me to somewhere." And Ryotaros is like, "I'll take you to the train." Because Ryotaros is a small child. But he is calling the baby his brother because... Also, to best describe this guy's character, he's Gilgamesh from Fate. That's it. He's just Gilgamesh from Fate. It is all about me, and everything revolves around me. That's it. That's this character. But he ends up passing the baby to Hana's care. And after talking with everyone, he just possesses Ryotaro. And just lays back down on his couch. Because I guess Ryotaro is just gonna have to deal with this all day. Meanwhile, Yuto and Deneb spot an Imagine following said kidnapper of baby and decide to follow him. They end up spotting him, the Imagine contracting with him. Don't interfere at all. And try to stop it for some reason. I have no idea why. Because Deneb shows off he has finger guns. You could have shot the Imagine and stopped this. Oh, what were you gonna say?
Could have.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it's gonna happen.
Yeah. They eventually find out that the Imagine wants to return the baby. So, with the little clues they have of there's some feather motif symbol connected to the mother, who is obviously rich and is in a mansion, they go off to investigate. They also find out that said Imagine can shrink the other Imagine to the size of action figures. Because we need a second Imagine with some sort of weird gimmick. Because Ryotaro's mind controlling people is not enough. So Hana's walking with Sieg possessing Ryotaro for a while. And she eventually tells him to stay put at this bridge so she can go to the Milk Dipper to look for info. Once she gets there, Tweedledee and Tweedledum are there, and Tweedledee is trying to boast about him getting in the paper for an article of his. But when Hana gets the paper shoved in her face, she just sees, the mansion, the motif, the rich thing. Man, bye. But when she gets back, Sieg is gone because he remembered where the mansion was and then fucked off and left. Because nobody's going to make anything easy for Hana to deal with, unfortunately. But when he gets there, a bunch of cops come out asking him questions and stuff because they think he's the kidnapper because he has baby. And eventually Sieg's like, fuck this, you deal with it, and just hops out, so Ryotaro's just left to deal with this. Because Sieg is a dick. But luckily, Yutsu and Deneb were nearby following the Imagine, and bail Ryotaro out, using smoke bomb pellet things that Deneb can shoot. So they bail him out, meet up with Hana. Ryotaro passes her the baby once they see the other Imagine is here. They follow it. Ryotaro fights it with Utaros and Kintaros and save the mom that got kidnapped by said Imagine. But then the cops start to show up. And Ryotaro tells Hana, hey, leave, because you don't want to be here when this shit goes down. And takes the baby so it can be returned. And he is swiftly arrested for being the suspected kidnapper. So, Ryotaro's bad luck strikes probably the hardest it's ever had, considering Ari's reaction later. But that's the end of episode 23, which takes us to episode 24, The Prince's Goodbye Lullaby. So we start with Deneb trying to befriend Sieg and fails, because of course it does. At the Milk Dipper, Ari gets a call about the whole situation, and she's actually surprised by this. So apparently Ryotaro has never been arrested because of his bad luck. I assume. At least arrested for something, I guess, this serious. But we see him being interrogated because the cops are trying to figure out what the fuck his story is. Momo steps in to just intimidate them, which doesn't work. So Utaro steps in and spins them a tale. Meanwhile, Yutu and Deneb update Hana on the whole situation before they leave. And we see that Utaros has literally told them a novel's worth of tale about how Ryotaro did not kidnap this small child. There is a literal novel sitting on that desk. How did they not stop you at some point and go, wait, why is it this long? This is ridiculous. But as the cops are as the cops are confused, he tags out with Kintaros, who just takes a nap. So I guess we're just gonna stall them out until they just give up. But someone mentions crying, and then Kintaros wakes up, and we don't see what happens from there.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But at this point, Hana heads to the train car with Sieg. and talks to him, and eventually just knocks some fucking sense into him, being like, no, the world does not revolve around you, you fucking egotistical maniac. You want to fucking do something, do it your goddamn self. But this has the adverse effect of him thinking she is his princess. This is where my crackpot theory is born. So you know how I mentioned a while back that apparently on the writer wiki, it's sourced from some random television magazine that Hana was Deno of the Lost Timeline she's from.
Mm-hmm.
So we know Steve will show up later with his own Deno belt for some reason. And becomes this white swan-themed version of Deno.
You're thinking that's some of the leftovers from if she was?
I think that's her belt. Literally. Not only is that her belt, Sieg was potentially her Imagine. Or at least a Sieg was her Imagine. Because what is her primary color scheme? It's white and black. And Sieg covers the white half of it.
True.
And she clearly is more than capable of handling Sieg. Even if the other Sieg was somehow different. But again, crackpot theory of Sieg is technically her Imagine and that's her belt that he just fucking poofed into existence. Because there's no follow-up on this. There's no explanation from here on out where the fuck Sieg gets his Deno belt from. He just has it. And no one bothers to question him. Anyway, back in the episode, Sieg, taking the conversation to with Hana to heart, does the most frightening thing I've ever seen in Rider fucking ever. He manages to possess the baby and make it tell his mom that Ryotaro is innocent and saved him. And we get a fucking CG'd mouth on the baby speaking this line. What the literal fuck? Why?
I think the only thing that makes that entire scene worse is the fact that the mom didn't freak out.
The mom is asleep at the moment.
Okay. All the more reason. There is no one else in the room but her and the baby.
I know.
Really?
This is the I know people complain about the CG of Rider and stuff, but like this is worse than any garbage CG monster we've ever gotten in Rider. I will take 1,000 of those before seeing this shit pop up in Revice ever.
Yeah.
Do not do this. Please. But because of freaky baby moment, the mom decides that, oh, Ryotara's in the clear, so she says to tell the cops to let him go and has her driver pick him up, and he's delivered to the mansion so she can thank him, only for Sieg to quickly possess him and take advantage of the situation because now he gets his castle and stuff for his big kingly personality of his. Unfortunately for him, he's running out of time because he's technically contracted with the baby. Small baby does not have good memory. He is forgetting Sieg. Therefore, Sieg gonna go poof. I say, fuck him. Good.
Cho says make a loophole and save him.
Yeah. But we see that, or we follow Sieg as he sees the mom get kidnapped by the Imagine. Again, follows the Imagine outside as Hana and Yuto show up. Because Yuto's been staking out the place, and Hana just found out about, oh no, Sieg's gonna disappear. Might want to go check on him. And he just summons his own belt out of nowhere and becomes Den-O wing form. Which is like a cream and white repaint of Den-O sword form with a new helmet. Do you care for wing form at all?
I didn't hate it. It was one of those that if it was another like permanent form, I would probably be fine with it. My problems more stem from the fact of it's going to be one of those limited use ones.
Yeah, because honestly, Sieg feels like someone who should be showing up in a movie or something. But he doesn't. He shows up in the show and then only really appears in movies and stuff. I do not understand Sieg.
Maybe they did it that way. That way they could have that movie exclusive form, but it actually makes sense in the context of the show.
I guess. Except Sieg is the only one that's going to be coming Den-O wing form from here on out. Spoilers. He's not even going to bother to possess Ryotaro to go with a rider form, become a rider. He's just going to be Den-O wing form on his own.
Huh.
Yeah. Den-O gets weird with its rider stuff by the end of the show. But we'll get there. But anyway, he goes wing form, knocks the Imagine once, and then drops out of the rider form. The Imagine gets away with the mom. Ryotaro gives chase. Manages to get to the truck where he's been. Scans the guy to find out where the Imagine went back to. Yuto ends up staying behind because he doesn't want to use one of his 8 cards that he has left. And he specifically says 8 cards. But Ryotaro goes back. He transforms. He blows up the Imagine with Kentaros. He makes it back in time to point out that, hey, I scanned the mom and it pulled up Sieg. So as long as we dump him in the past at this date, he'll be fine. So they do exactly that. And as they drop him off, he hugs Hana, who punches him, and then he just floats off and he's gone. Because I guess we're not worried about him doing damage to the timeline, I guess. Or what he's going to do now.
I mean, it's fine, right? He totally isn't an overpowered Imagine that, you know, could destroy the timeline or anything. No.
He's harmless.
I mean, he turned into Den-O. He can't be bad, right? Yeah, that does kind of slightly annoy me there, too.
Yeah. Because, like I said, we're not going to see Sieg for a little bit. I believe he shows up in Ore Tanjo, but I honestly do not remember. I know he shows up in, like, the proper, the final movie of Den-O, which is... Climax... Is it Climax Deca I'm thinking of? No, Final Countdown. There's too many Den-O movies. He shows up in Final Countdown. So he's showing up twice more via movies. I honestly don't remember if he shows up in the show. I don't remember him from here on out, but I didn't finish the show. The last episodes I remember watching are the Zero Form episodes. And that's not anywhere close to the finale. That's like 30 something. So I honestly don't know. So how'd you feel about Zeke's debut episodes?
Like I said, I feel like it would annoy me less if it was a case of he was going to be there for more than just the occasional show up kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how they use him, maybe it will be one of those where it'd be like, you know, I could go back and be like, yeah, sure, that was pretty good two-parter, but I'm honestly at the point of why?
It feels like that's this whole 4 episodes outside of the Hana stuff for me.
I mean, if they come back and actually do something with him, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have a funny feeling they won't. And that's where I'm like, did we really need it?
Yeah, I'm almost certain they won't. Somehow he was supposed to be connected to Hana's like story for the show, but because they did the actor change, she left the show, her actor left the show, and they swapped actresses. And they dropped that part of the storyline, I guess. Sieg's now just left as this anomaly of just like, he exists, we have to acknowledge he exists, but we don't know what to do with him anymore.
That's exactly how that feels, is what's bad.
Yeah. Granted, I have no information if that is true or not. I don't know if that even was remotely potentially planned. So
it almost feels like it was.
Yeah.
Whether or not it actually played into something right now, or maybe that was supposed to be something later down the road, I feel like that was at least the intent.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that kind of sucks because, yeah.
Yeah. But that's our episodes for Den-O, folks. And next week, 3/4 of our episodes will be taking place before the thing we watched the week after. The 4th one will spoil the movie for us.
Yay.
Damn our formatting. Unless we want to tack on a 5th episode onto the couple of weeks afterwards.
And have a short episode for a short batch next week.
Pretty much.
I mean, how bad?
The outcome of the movie directly connects to that episode, and the events of that episode are directly a fallout of the movie. You do not get more connected to the movie than Den-O, besides the double episodes. And even then, this is straight up plot connections.
Huh.
Like when I'm saying this is a hard connected episode to the movie, I mean if you are coming into this without knowledge of the movie, I believe the literal opening exposition of that episode tells you what happened in the movie. Because the previous episode, why it literally leads into the movie. And everything about that fourth episode we be watching next week deals with the aftermath of the movie. And the thing we had to do to solve the problem and the consequences of that. Yeah, it's up to you whether you want to just walk in the movie spoilers or what.
I mean, I guess.
I'll do the 4 episodes next week.
Yeah.
All right, then. So next week, it will be the usual 4 episodes. And then the week after, we shall watch Ore Tanjo. But between now and then, Thursday, we get back at Grey's Ace Attorney, hoping to make some really good progress. Friday is Four Swords Adventure. And Saturday, we do some Super Mario Sunshine. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that affiliate goal. At TG Saloon on Twitter gets the updates when we go live. Next Mission Point Discord and chat gets your Discord link. Drop by, say hi. See you Thursday, folks.